Story 1. The Curse of Helltown. Ohio Helltown is the sinister nickname given to an area in Boston Township, Ohio, notorious for its dark reputation over the decades. It all began in the mid-1970s when the federal government ordered the evacuation of the area, claiming it was needed to transform the region into a national park. But what seemed like an innocent project soon raised suspicions. Families were forced to leave in a rush, abandoning furniture, clothes, and even food left on tables as if fleeing from something unspeakable. The national park was never built, and Helltown remained a cluster of deserted streets, decaying houses, and a mystery that only grew over time. The first macabre stories began to surface shortly after the evacuation. Residents of nearby towns reported seeing strange lights flickering in the sky above Helltown, while others claimed to hear screams and cries coming from the direction of the abandoned town, especially during full moon nights. One of the most shocking cases involved a family who decided to return to retrieve belongings they had left behind. They were never seen again. Days later, their pickup truck was found abandoned on a side road, with its doors open, windows shattered, and deep claw marks etched into the metal. Inside, bloodstains were scattered, but there was no trace of the family. As the years passed, Helltown's reputation only worsened. Curious visitors who dared to explore the area returned traumatized or simply vanished. One of the most infamous tales is about the school bus of terror, a vehicle abandoned deep in the woods, its windows shattered, and a handwritten warning on its side: "Stay away." Those who venture near the bus claim to hear the voices of crying children and whispers of incomprehensible words. Some say they've seen shadowy figures seated on the bus's benches, their glowing eyes piercing the darkness. Other accounts include sightings of hooded figures, often seen silently parading through the town or performing macabre rituals in the ruins of local churches. One brave visitor who escaped alive described a ceremony where masked people in black robes surrounded a stone altar inscribed with strange symbols, chanting in an unknown language. The man hiding behind bushes fled when he heard the sharp, desperate scream of a victim who was never found. One of Helltown's most feared areas is known as the Hell Cliff, a trail that ends abruptly in a deep gorge. It's said that those who walk there at night feel an invisible presence, hearing footsteps echoing behind them. Some people report seeing a cadaverous man standing at the edge of the cliff, his sunken, hollow eyes silently observing anyone who approaches before vanishing like a shadow in the mist. The forest surrounding the town is another source of terrifying tales. Witnesses speak of trees that seem to move, forming narrow corridors that shift directions, confusing and trapping visitors. It's said that a grotesque creature lives there, a fusion of man and beast, with sharp claws and teeth that gleam in the darkness. This creature, known as the Guardian of Helltown, was supposedly summoned by a satanic cult that used the area for bloody rituals. Strange symbols and charred bones are often found in the woods, evidence of the profane acts performed there. There's also the story of the Demon Church, a small abandoned chapel that still stands. Its cross-shaped windows were mysteriously all turned upside down. Those who enter the church say the air becomes icy and whispers echo between the empty pews, as if something unseen is watching. Survivors of such visits described a strong stench of sulfur and shadows that moved on their own. To this day, Helltown remains a mystery. No official explanation has ever been given for the events surrounding the area. The government remains silent about the reasons behind the evacuation and abandonment, while the few who dare to enter the town swear that the curse is real. To many, Helltown is more than just a ghost town. It's a portal to something evil, a grim reminder that some secrets are better left buried. Story 2. The Winchester Mansion, located in San Jose, California, is not just an architectural landmark, but also one of the most enigmatic and terrifying places in the United States. Built by Sarah Winchester, heiress to the fortune generated by the famous rifle company, the mansion is a mix of genius, madness, and a deep fear of the beyond. After losing her husband and daughter, Sarah consulted a medium who convinced her that she was being haunted by the spirits of those killed by her family's firearms. The only way to appease them, she was told, was to build a house for them, one that would never be completed. For 38 years, day and night, the mansion was under constant construction. The result was a massive structure with 160 rooms, 47 fireplaces, 10,000 windows, and a labyrinth of corridors designed to confuse the dead. Doors open to solid walls, windows overlook other rooms, stairs lead nowhere, and secret passages are scattered throughout. The workers, instructed to build without questioning, reported strange phenomena. Tools disappearing or moving on their own, whispers in empty rooms, and shadowy figures watching them as they worked. The legends surrounding the mansion grew over the years. It is said that Sarah received instructions from the spirits every night in a special room known as the Blue Room. There, she conducted seances to communicate with the dead and plan the next changes to the house. According to reports, the door to this room locked itself, and many claim to feel a chilling presence upon entering. The atmosphere of the mansion is heavy, as if every wall is soaked in pain and regret. Visitors often report a feeling of being watched, even when they are alone. One group of tourists claim to hear muffled laughter coming from an empty hallway, while others feel inexplicable chills passing through certain rooms. One of the most famous accounts is of a tour guide who, while leading a group, saw a female figure in black watching him from one of the windows. He described her gaze as cold and accusatory. Moments later, he fainted and has since refused to return to the mansion. One of the most feared rooms is the mirror room, where Sarah is believed to have performed rituals to repel the most aggressive spirits. The mirrors were installed at specific angles, and visitors say they reflect things that aren't in the room, such as human figures moving on their own. A paranormal investigator reported hearing knocks on the walls of the room, accompanied by whispers calling his name. Another unsettling area is the Hall of Steps, a place where the sound of footsteps echoes endlessly, even when no one is around. House staff have reported the sound growing louder as they approach, but when they turn to look, there is nothing there. On one occasion, a caretaker fled in terror after feeling an invisible hand tug at his shirt while he was cleaning the floor. Sarah Winchester lived in the mansion until her death in 1922. However, many believe her presence never left the house. Reports of a woman in black walking the corridors are common, and guides often mention doors opening and closing on their own, as if she is still supervising the construction. A group of paranormal investigators captured a chilling recording in the mansion. A female voice whispering, "Keep building." The Winchester Mansion is not just a reflection of one woman's tormented fear, but also a monument to obsession and the unknown. Every room, every corridor, and every staircase seems to hold a dark secret, as if the very bricks are witnesses to something beyond human comprehension. For those who dare to visit, the question is not if something will happen, but when. And if you hear footsteps behind you, it's best not to look back. Story 3. The Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, exudes an air of mystery that goes beyond its role as Stephen King's inspiration for The Shining. Built in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, the hotel was initially a luxurious retreat for America's elite, but over the years it has become a stage for terrifying events that defy logical explanation. Today, the Stanley is renowned for both its elegance and the intense paranormal activity that permeates every corner of its premises. The spirit of Flora Stanley, the founder's wife, is a constant presence in the hotel. A passionate musician, Flora is often heard playing the piano in the main hall. Decades after her death, guests and staff continue to report hearing melancholic notes echoing through the hallways. Strangely, The piano is often found out of place in the morning, as if it had been moved during the night. Witnesses claim to have seen an ethereal figure sitting at the piano, fingers gliding over invisible keys, while an otherworldly chill fills the air. Room 217, one of the hotel's most requested and feared rooms, is the site of even more unsettling occurrences. In 1911, a housekeeper named Elizabeth Wilson was thrown from the room during an explosion but survived the accident. Since her death, however, her spirit seems to have never left. Guests report waking up to find their suitcases inexplicably packed or their clothes folded and placed neatly in the wardrobe. Others, less fortunate, describe feeling a presence hovering over them as they sleep or waking in the middle of the night to the sensation of invisible hands touching their shoulders. Throughout the hotel's hallways, the sound of footsteps echoes during the early hours, even when no one is present. Doors open and close on their own, often accompanied by whispers that defy identification. Some guests report hearing the laughter of children on the upper floors, even when no children were. Staying in the hotel on those nights, one of the most chilling accounts involved a couple staying in a suite on the upper floors. In the middle of the night, the man awoke to see a misty figure sitting at the foot of the bed, smiling sinisterly, with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through him. He tried to scream but found himself paralyzed. When he finally managed to move, he fled to the hallway, only to encounter two more translucent figures slowly walking along the carpet, staring directly at him. The experience left him deeply shaken, and he left the hotel before dawn, vowing never to return. Staff members accustomed to dealing with the inexplicable also have their own stories. One housekeeper reported feeling a heavy pressure on her chest while cleaning a room, as though someone were trying to push her out. Another staff member recounted hearing heavy footsteps behind him while working in the basement. When he turned around, no one was there, but the lights began flickering violently until he fled in terror. The ballroom is another hot spot for supernatural activity. Motion sensors are frequently triggered in the dead of night, as if an invisible party were taking place. Guests have reported seeing silhouettes dancing, accompanied by sounds of laughter and music filling the air. Upon investigation, the room is found completely empty. For those brave enough to explore the hotel at night, the external gardens carry an equally unsettling atmosphere. On certain nights, shadowy figures can be seen lurking among the trees or walking slowly across the lawn, vanishing the moment they are noticed. Some visitors claim to feel an inexplicable weight when passing near the central fountain, as though invisible hands are pulling them toward the water. Even today, the tales surrounding the Stanley Hotel continue to grow. Paranormal investigations conducted by experts have captured voices, movements, and temperature fluctuations that defy scientific explanation. Guests, while fascinated, often leave with a mixture of wonder and fear. The Stanley Hotel is more than just a historical landmark. It serves as a reminder that sometimes the past never truly lets go. Its hallways echo with whispers of bygone times, its walls carry memories of forgotten events, and its rooms hold secrets that defy logic. How many would dare to spend an entire night there, knowing they will never truly be alone?